Alright, let's dive into something that's been making headlines recently, a Ukrainian drone attack on the Russian city of Nizhnekamsk. Now, before we get into the details, let me just say this. The dynamics of this conflict are shifting in ways that are both fascinating and deeply concerning. Personally, I think this attack is a prime example of how Ukraine is adapting its strategy to hit Russia where it hurts, both literally and metaphorically. So, here's the deal. Ukrainian drones struck Nizhnekamsk, a city about 1,200 kilometers east of the Ukrainian border. The attack reportedly killed 13 people, including a child, and wounded 75 others. Now, what makes this really interesting is the target. Nizhnekamsk isn't just any city, it's a major oil refining hub, home to 2 refineries and a petrochemical plant. Ukraine's military claims they hit the Tatarstan oil refinery, and if that's true, it's a big deal. Why? Because Ukraine has been systematically targeting Russia's oil infrastructure in recent months, and it's starting to have an impact. From my perspective, this isn't just about damaging Russia's economy, though that's a huge part of it. It's also a psychological play. Ukraine is sending a message: no place in Russia is safe from this conflict. And that's a massive shift. For years, Russia has been able to wage war on Ukrainian soil while keeping its own cities largely untouched. But now, Ukraine's long-range drones are changing the game. Some of these drones are reaching as far as Siberia, over 2,000 kilometers from the border. That's staggering. One thing that immediately stands out is Zelensky's statement: Russia's war will be felt more and more at their own home. In my opinion, this is Ukraine's way of leveling the playing field. Russia has been bombarding Ukrainian cities with missiles and drones, causing thousands of civilian casualties. Ukraine's response? Bring the war to Russia's doorstep. It's a bold strategy, and it raises a deeper question. Is this escalation going to force Putin to the negotiating table, or will it just escalate the conflict further? What many people don't realize is that these attacks are already having tangible effects inside Russia. Fuel shortages are becoming more common, and the public is starting to feel the strain. If you take a step back and think about it, this is Ukraine's way of saying, you want to invade us? Fine. But we're not going down without making it hurt. It's a risky move, but it's also a calculated one. Ukraine knows it can't win a conventional war against Russia, so they're hitting them where they're vulnerable, their economy and their sense of security. Now, let's talk about the broader implications. This attack isn't just about Nizhnekamsk or even Russia's oil industry. It's part of a larger trend in modern warfare. Drones are becoming game changers, especially for smaller countries facing off against superpowers. Ukraine's domestically developed drones are proving that you don't need a massive military budget to inflict serious damage. This raises a deeper question. How will this change the way wars are fought in the future? Are we looking at a world where asymmetric conflicts become even more unpredictable? A detail I find fascinating is the international response, or lack thereof. Russia has been bombarding Ukraine for years, hitting civilian areas and even targeting humanitarian sites like the World Health Organization's warehouse in Dnipro. Yet, when Ukraine strikes back, it's often framed as an escalation. Personally, I think this double standard is worth discussing. Ukraine is fighting for its survival, and yet they're expected to play by a different set of rules. What this really suggests is that the global community still hasn't figured out how to handle this kind of asymmetric conflict. So, where does this leave us? In my opinion, this attack is a turning point. Ukraine is no longer just defending itself, it's taking the fight to Russia in a way that's both strategic and symbolic. But here's the thing, escalation is a dangerous game. While I admire Ukraine's resilience, I can't help but wonder if this will push Russia to retaliate even more brutally. What this really suggests is that we're entering a new phase of this conflict, one that's even more unpredictable and potentially more devastating. As I wrap this up, I'm left with a thought-provoking question for all of us. Is this the future of warfare? A back and forth of drone strikes, economic sabotage, and psychological warfare? And if so, what does that mean for global stability? Personally, I think we're witnessing a new kind of conflict, one that's less about territory and more about breaking the other side's will to fight. It's a grim prospect, but it's also a reality we can't ignore. So, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below.